Hey everyone, and welcome back to the deep dive. Today we've got something really special lined up for you. We've been digging into some quite powerful notes from the Abundance Blueprint podcast with Naomi Sadiq. Specifically, we're focusing on an episode from their Women in Wealth campaign series. And our mission really is to unpack what it means to truly blueprint abundance. It seems to go way beyond just, chasing wealth.
It really does. What's so compelling in these notes is how they reframe the whole idea of wealth. It's not just accumulation, like you said. It's this active process of blueprinting it. So weaving together financial truth, a real lived experience, and this pretty bold concept of unapologetic abundance. It feels much more holistic than your typical financial advice. A bigger picture of success.
That phrase, blueprinting, it really sticks. Does the source material explain how you start that? Like, are there concrete steps, or is it more about shifting your mindset first? Because, for our listeners, figuring out the how is always key.
That's a great point. And yeah, the source does get into that. It suggests blueprinting isn't just, say, setting a goal. It's more like pre-engineering the whole environment emotionally, logistically, so abundance can flow without that usual struggle or chase. It's like designing an ecosystem, basically.
Yeah.
And it apparently starts with what they call a soul-nourishing pause.
A soul-nourishing pause. I like that. Sounds calming already. So right at the start, they emphasize the foundational power of gratitude. But it sounds like it's not just for the good times, right? More active than that.
Exactly. The notes connect gratitude not just to feeling positive, but to a very specific kind of internal recalibration. There's this line, staying soft in the waiting, strong in the setback, clear in the chaos. It's less about forcing positivity and maybe more about strategically clearing out the emotional clutter.
That staying soft in the waiting part, that definitely gave me pause. It sounds challenging. Does the source give any practical tips on how you actually do that, especially when things are uncertain financially?
Well, the idea presented is that slowing down, deliberately giving thanks, even for the tough stuff, the setbacks, it actually activates a sense of inner peace. It's framed as an act of deconditioning yourself from those scarcity thoughts. And doing that clears the path, dissolves resistance, so abundance can arrive without force.
Ah, okay.
It's described almost as an active spiritual adjustment. And it's all captured in that mantra, I'm grateful, even for that. Because, as they say, abundance grows best in truth, even the difficult truths.
Okay, so gratitude sets the internal stage. How does the abundance blueprint then connect that inner work to, actual financial empowerment, especially for women, which I guess leads us right into their Women in Wealth campaign?
That's the perfect link.
Yeah.
The campaign, which runs through September 30th, according to the notes, builds directly on that internal foundation. It pushes for deeper thinking about money itself, not just having it, but how you multiply it, how you protect it, and maybe most importantly, how you honor yourself enough to stop, hiding from the financial side of things.
And one thing that jumped out at me was how they position the campaign to build trust, acting as a financial safe space. It feels less like preaching and more like holding space for both financial recovery and that kind of spiritual growth. The message seems clear. Whether you're an entrepreneur, an author, creator, coach, you don't have to go it alone. And you deserve overflow without burnout. That phrase really lands, overflow without burnout. Does the source acknowledge how tricky that balance is in reality? Does it offer specific strategies for achieving that, maybe counterintuitive ones?
It definitely does. Burnout is acknowledged as a huge risk. Their approach to overflow seems tied into strategic partnerships and really valuing yourself. Which brings us neatly to the next big piece, these policy conversations. They bring in David Alexander, a licensed insurance agent, founder of RRJ Consulting. And the notes say he, quote, takes the frustration out of the conversation.
Yeah, I was impressed by that part. How he seems to make complex policy stuff feel, understandable. Like the source mentioned, he compares a business continuity plan to a fire escape route for your company. Just a clear path for when things get chaotic. Makes sense.
Exactly. It's not just about having insurance, but really getting the function of each policy in plain language.
Right.
And they tackle those tough but necessary truths, as the notes call them.
Right.
Like what actually happens to your business if something unexpected happens to you? Or are your key people, employees, clients, even family protected? The podcast really hammers home the idea of not waiting for a crisis to value our future.
So it's not just about asking the hard questions. What are the core protections they keep coming back to in each episode?
The source consistently points to three things: protecting your brand, partnering strategically with people who are aligned with your values, and making sure your legacy can be passed on, even in silence.
Even in silence.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's all about being proactive, planning ahead,
Yeah.
not just reacting when things go wrong, ensuring your work continues to have an impact.
And talking about impact, it sounds like this blueprint is already making waves. SGB2B, which the source clarifies as Strategic Global Business to Business, the parent company, they're actually getting a major award this quarter.
That's right.
And it's not just any award, it's for strategic federal positioning, nonprofit innovation, and community reinvestment. That really speaks volumes about their approach, doesn't it?
It really does. The notes frame this award less as just praise and more as proof that their, let's say, unconventional model works.
Hmm.
Proving that spiritual principles and community focus can actually drive measurable results like strategic federal positioning and nonprofit innovation.
That's powerful.
And this community commitment also shines through in their plans for an upcoming gala. It's positioned as way more than just, trophies and tablecloths.
Right. They want to bring together small business owners, survivors, creators, collaborators, all under one roof to honor stories, unlock resources, and bridge what they call the faith and finance gap. Can you unpack that term a bit? What does the faith and finance gap mean in their context?
Sure. Based on the notes, it seems to refer to that perceived split between holding spiritual values and making sound, practical financial decisions. The gala, and really the whole Abundance Blueprint project, aims to show these aren't separate worlds. They can actually align, reinforce each other, and strengthen both your personal and financial health.
That's a really strong connection they're making. So how does this vision translate geographically? They mentioned Mobile, Alabama as a strategic blueprint expansion zone. What makes it a blueprint zone specifically?
Well, the source describes Mobile as kind of a test lab, a proof of concept hub. It's where they can pilot and refine their holistic approach before maybe rolling it out more widely. They're looking for replicable models. So plans include things like piloting B2B matchups, offering policy reviews tailored for small businesses there, and running vendor prep programs. Basically helping local business owners scale up with confidence, stop the guesswork. It sounds very hands-on.
It really does. And this brings us to something quite profound, the sort of deeper why behind the Abundance Blueprint. The show notes explicitly say it funds and fuels the Phenomenally Me Women's Society, which is a nonprofit.
Yes.
So the podcast isn't just content creation, it's like a direct engine for social impact.
Absolutely. And the Phenomenal Me Women's Society provides very tangible support, meals, policy checks, and really vital support for women who are healing after breast cancer.
Wow.
So your engagement as a listener, it actually translates directly into real help for someone. Like the notes say, supporting the deep dive literally feeds someone's peace. Sharing an episode opens a door for someone to get help.
And if you align your own business with what they're doing, you join a system built on truth, partnership, and purpose. It really drives home their tagline, making business make sense with soul. It kind of reminds me of that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup, but this feels like the next step. Like, okay, your cup is full, but you need the right channel so it overflows effectively, not just makes a mess. It's surprisingly practical, actually.
It is quite practical. And if you're wondering about concrete next steps for yourself, the podcast points towards ROJ Consulting, LLC, headed by David Alexander. Their whole philosophy sounds quite refreshing. Insurance without pressure, education without shame, solutions without sales tactics.
That does sound different.
Yeah, and you can apparently mention the code ABUNDANCE to get a private, judgment-free review of your own situation.
That's good to know. The show also puts out this really open invitation for you, the listener, to share your own story. Whether you feel like you're thriving or maybe rebuilding or just starting something new and meaningful, they want to hear it. You can send your journey, even just a voice note, to info@theabundanceblueprint.org, and they might even feature your story.
And for supporting the work directly, there are a few ways mentioned. You can go to ko-fi.com/Naomi Sadiq or grab one of their journals or planners. You could even sponsor a shout-out on the show itself via theabundanceblueprint.org.
Okay.
Oh, and a useful tip from the notes. The episodes are free for members until August 10th. So if you sign up with your email, you'll be, as they put it, first, family, and blueprint ready.
Good tip. All right, so as we start to wrap up this deep dive, we've really seen how the Abundance Blueprint goes about blueprinting abundance. It's not just chasing it. It's about building it through, well, that deep internal work with gratitude, smart strategic policy, and a really strong commitment to community and purpose.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful reminder that your financial health isn't separate from your personal well-being or your bigger mission in the world. They're all interwoven.
Absolutely. This deep dive really highlights that true abundance isn't just measured by what you have, it's also about what you protect, how you contribute, the legacy you're consciously building. It's fundamentally about valuing your future and aligning everything, your actions, your resources, with what truly matters to you, creating that whole ecosystem we talked about, where abundance just flows more naturally.
So let's leave you with this thought, drawing from that powerful statement in the source material. Abundance is your birthright, but alignment, that's the blueprint.
Hmm.
The source really pushes us beyond just thinking about abundance as something out there to get.
Hmm.
It suggests it's more about achieving this deep congruence internally and externally that actually unlocks our natural capacity for wealth in its widest sense. So the question for you to reflect on is, what does that kind of alignment truly mean for your unique journey? And maybe more practically, what's one small step, one part of the blueprint you could start laying down for yourself, maybe even starting today?